A massive warning sign as Ford Motor Company starts doing layoffs. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the show. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, friends, welcome to the show. I hope you're all doing great. So we got a good one to talk about today. Ford Motor Company now throwing their hat in the ring, announcing layoffs. Why is this important? Because it's a forward indicator of what's potentially circulating out there that's going to find its way into the U.S. housing market, the biggest asset class in the world. Friends, we kicked the can too far down the road. This was a runaway train, a two-headed monster that's now out of the cage, and we don't know how to get it back in. Even our leadership has gone on record saying the housing market needs a bit of a reset. That's their mission, is to give the housing market a bit of a reset. Unfortunately, we're now dancing on the razor's edge, trying not to spook these markets so it doesn't become a flash crash, a race to the bottom, and we're one news event away, a black swan event away. And what are we? There's so much going on out there in the world today. Anything could just come out of left field. Do you ever get the sense the other shoe's going to drop? I read a lot of your comments here. I get the sense the other shoe's going to drop. I smell a rat. This doesn't pass the smell test. And I agree. The realities are, friends, anytime you overheat the biggest asset class in the world, the U.S. housing market, it's going to have some crash risk to it. I'm sorry, even with, as an industry guy. Industry guy benefits from the euphoria. I was deemed an essential worker. Scott,
you're an essential worker. Go sell it. Okay, I'm going to go sell it.
Oh, that was very short-sighted. Now, maybe, just maybe, and I can't even say this would have fixed it. The second this all exploded, this housing bubble, had we done interest rates initially and not let it become a runaway train, because we had overnight appreciation to never seen before highs. Overnight, absurd appreciation. The wealth effect caused people to go out and act foolishly and spend the way they wouldn't have spent had this not happened. Very short-sighted. So we kicked the can way too far down the road. Now we're going to suffer the byproduct of that, the blowback, as the dust settles, and we're going to pay the piper. And how do we know that? Well, I'm about to explain it to you, of course. I'm going to give you another forward indicator of how this is eventually going to trickle into the housing market. It becomes at what level? You see, when people start spending foolishly because of the wealth effect, what do? They go buy a car. And Ford Motor Company, one of the biggest automaker in the world, Ford Motor Company is now saying it's over. It's over. The auto bubble is popping. It will always pop first because it's the second biggest purchase of people's lives. So, of course, the smaller of those two purchases goes first, eventually the housing market. The housing market, because we occupy our homes, will take a while before people are forced to market. But when I hear reports now, from the heavy hitters, the big auto industry, and this happened in the last recession, my friends. It happened before. It will happen again. History might not repeat, but it always rhymes. So today, to drive our point home, let's jump over to an article from Ford Motor Company. Then we'll meet back here, wrap this one up. Let's get started. Ford conducts layoffs in U.S. and Canada. Detroit, Michigan, Ford Motor Company confirmed Monday it will carry out layoffs this week, primarily affecting engineering jobs in U.S. and Canada as the automaker seeks billions in cost-cutting measures as it restructures its business operations. The most recent layoffs were first reported late last week. At that time, some contractors were notified they would no longer be working with the company. Crosstown rival General Motors has taken some layoff actions and conducted an employee buyout program that cost it $875 million during the first quarter. Jeep maker Stellantis confirmed in April it was offering voluntary buyouts to about 33,500 U.S. employees as the global automaker attempts to cut costs and headcount. And heads are spinning for tens of thousands of U.S. and Canadian workers as they're being sent home, as now all the major manufacturers are entering life support mode. Let's get back to the studio so we can wrap this one up. All right, friends, welcome back. So there you go. That is what's currently happening with the auto industry. Clearly, the auto bubble is popping. You don't do layoffs, my friends, if you're in an accelerating market. You do layoffs if you're in a decelerating market. This is a forward indicator. This happened back in the '08 era. This is the auto bubble will pop first. This is air being let out of the balloon as we speak. Unfortunately, for me, I've always said, and you let me know what you guys think. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. Anytime the markets exhibit bubble behavior, they're gonna have crash risk. This was the biggest bubble ever produced in world history. People found their way into car lots, buying cars with their unrealized wealth on paper, the wealth effect. It was all a big bamboozle. It was a big aren't you glad you're awake right now? I suffered from that bamboozle in the 2008 era. Never lived through a bust cycle firsthand myself, responsible for paying my own bills. That's why I'm a little bit suspect at times. Anybody that's never lived through an economic downturn before and suffered some of the blowback and climbed out of that and came back from that. You can sit here and tell me this time is different all you want, but you didn't live through the '08 financial crisis, and this is a bigger bubble that logic alone would tell you, you better put some crash risk on this, my friends. If you have your head in the sand and saying no crash risk here with the biggest bubble ever produced in world history, and this wasn't just a simple housing bubble like we had in '08, the everything bubble, and the auto industry drank the Kool-Aid too. And final thoughts. I come to you as a friend, as a content creator. Somebody wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life, my friends. Understanding the biggest artificially created asset bubble ever produced in world history, of course, is going to have blowback. Anybody out there telling you no crash risk here not only wants to sell you a house, they have to, because they base their cost of living on euphoric stimulus income that is now going away. They're on life support. They're in crisis mode. They are in panic mode, and Ford Motor Company, my friends, has decided to join the party. That is a massive, massive warning. In the meantime, I'll continue to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you, it'd be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, I know you're going to love the next video on your screen, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. I'll see you on the next video.